to the world what you get an innovation can do on a global stage. So we believe with what we're trying to put down, there'll be a lot of value for us at the Expo.
A panel discussion composed of main players in the ICT and innovation sector set the tone for the day, deliberating on ways how Uganda can develop a successful innovation sector. Samuel Senono, UBC News.
Now, the Vice President, Jessica Lupo, has said that President Yoweri Museveni is a role model in fighting for gender equality through different appointments and initiatives which have involved women at different levels in decision-making and in different fields, with a desire that women in leadership take interest as role models to impress upon young girls to aspire for the greatest height. The Vice President was at celebrations to mark Women's Day celebrations in Kampala City at Hotel Africana.
Kampala Women's Day celebrations were marked with a strong emphasis on environmental protection, with a display of various products all made out of environmental waste disposal. Vice President Jessica Lupo, who officiated at the function, thanked the women for their economic entrepreneurial spirit and called on them to pay close attention to the strong pillars of development with an equal mindset opportunity so that both genders can maximally participate in a harmonious and symbiotic way.
I want to thank the exhibitors who are there, who have by example come here to show that women can do economic enterprises just as men can do economic enterprises. We thank you, the exhibitors, and you are our role models. Because of the deliberate effort of the NRM government, led by His Excellency the President himself, to ensure that we have peace and security in our country. We have education for all in our country. We have health services in our country. We have economic stability in Uganda. We have infrastructure, roads, railways, electricity in our country. And also, we have a government that is mindful about our environment. And most importantly, many will want to talk about the placements which His Excellency the President has made in government. The placements of women at all levels. So because of peace and security, women have managed to settle down, men have managed to settle down across the country and do their productive activities, even come here and sit in Hotel Africana without thinking about any problem.
The Vice President also appreciated the work and efforts of KCCA Executive Director for progressively working towards a smart metropolitan city and handed over President Yoweri Museveni's donation of 40 million to the Kampala women. Etole Ed Archangel, UBC News.
Now, the Directorate of Public Prosecutions has asked court to take over the case where city lawyer Hassan Male Mabirizi is accused of insulting the person of Judge Musa Sekana. This case was filed by counsel Robert Rutalo against Mabirizi, who did not object to the prosecution's prayers. The accused, Hassan Male Mabirizi, however, objected to the DPP's prayer, saying that it is illegal.
Embato disitelo ya Hassan Male Mabirizi But the accused Hassan Malemabirizi objected to the prayers, saying it is intended to infringe on his rights to fair hearing and constitutional rights.
It is my submission that they are illegal. So a DPP cannot come here and take over illegal proceedings and purport to sanitize the illegalities by taking over. Essentially, I'm looking at this as a ploy, as a connivance between Mr. Robert and the DPP. Instead of coming here to answer the illegalities he committed, now he says, you come and write a simple letter by someone down that we are taking over. Taking over illegal proceedings. It's actually intended to defeat the powers of this court.
Basing on Malemabirizi's prayer, Magistrate Sanula Namboze adjourned the matter to 28th March 2022 for prosecution to make a rejoinder to Malemabirizi's objection.
Yes, the question that the DPP normally takes over the matters and then withdraws them. Sometimes, if it is an abuse of court process, then the DPP can withdraw the matter if they find, because the DPP directs investigation. So we are so hopeful that they will take over the matter and it will come to a logical conclusion. We have no doubt in that, and we don't object to any takeover by the state.
In this case, Hassan Malemabirizi is facing 2 counts of offensive communication and cyber stalking when he allegedly used his Twitter handle to insult the person of Justice Musa Sekana. Meanwhile, Justice Musa Sekana has ordered the file where Joel Jerry Wanyoro and Derek Akero Wamboga were accusing the security operatives and the Attorney General for using rather force and live ammunitions in dispersing the assemblies to be transferred to Constitutional Court.
And we'll be filing this matter as soon as possible because we are not relenting. We need to see that in Uganda, people are able to freely exercise their right of freedom of assembly without any such unnecessary intervention from police or the military.
Justice Musa Sekana said the matter raises issues of enforcement of human rights, which can be addressed by the Constitutional Court.
In other words, they should use force that is necessary where a protest has turned to be violent. Unnecessary force should be, may it include the use of water cannons and all that, but not shooting at unarmed civilians.
Joel Jerry Warono and Derek Akero Wamboga filed the case against the Attorney General, the Inspector General of Police Martin Okoth Ochola, and the Chief of Defense Forces UPDF, basing their grounds on the 2021 November riots, which left over 50 Ugandans dead. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
And after 2 days training on adaptation to climate change in Lake Victoria, Benson environmental scientists have been tasked to support community adaptive measures by propagating the acquired knowledge so as to influence adaptation to climatic change activities. Now, the National Coordinator, Lake Victoria Benson Commission in Uganda, Engineer Pamela Agaba, says there is need for supplementary support to propel returns on investment.
The system seems intact with minimal destruction. However, examination of individual countries that share the Lake Victoria Basin paints a different picture.
There are some places that the ecosystem health is very good, very intact, even the services are very good. But there are some parts in the basin, you find the ecosystem very degraded, wetlands are very degraded, you can see pollution in the lake, you can see also productivity going down. Human drivers, including climate change-driven drivers, is really making our lake ecosystems to be more vulnerable.
With no clear restoration plans, adaptation to climate change in the Lake Victoria Basin has become a regional concern in the East African community.
This is why we are conducting trainings and implementing a lot of measures to make sure we improve the performance of our ecosystem.
We are living in a system that many people still think that water is there. They take it for granted, isn't it? But water is there when it is of the suitable quality and quantity.
Environmentalists have been tasked to propagate knowledge and cause transformation and adaptation to climate change measures in Uganda.
So after this training, we have been training participants from a number of government agencies and ministries, including even our other stakeholders like the media. And after this training, we hope that people will go out and be able to develop adaptation plans, be able to assist communities in identifying their climate change challenges and developing actions and interventions that can deal with these challenges to climate change.
During the 26th Conference of the Parties, dubbed COP26 Summit in Glasgow last year, it was agreed that less developed countries, mainly in Africa, should be facilitated to adapt to climate change. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily band of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 30 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 80 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 180 MBs. Dial *150 *10 hash or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. That thing that makes us different from everybody else. Where does it grow infinitely? Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee, dairy farmland, and amazing maize fields. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. So you see, we are more than just a waving flag. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to improve the quality of life for Ugandans by creating sustainable jobs, businesses, and improving household incomes. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
There have always been hard times, but these days are harder than most. Everyone is hurting. Everyone needs help. But some among us are asking the question, what if we didn't have to go through life's hardest moments alone? What if we were in it together? And just by asking that question, he changed my son's life. He created an online crowdfunding platform for Ugandans to help raise money for each other.
Thank you, Nixon, for helping me.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
In March 2018, Total Energies launched the Welders Training and Certification Program aimed at improving the employability of Ugandans from the Albertine region and East African crude oil pipeline areas.
GIZ E4D project is working with Total Energies, where we are targeting to train at the end of it 350 welders, and we're expected to train more.
I see myself working maybe in the oil and gas industry, being an international certified welder, because I have acquired the skills.
I'm a lady, but doing something which is generally perceived to be for men. It makes you actually feel special. It makes you feel wow.
I am ready to support the oil and gas sector by being a quality welder. I thank you, Total, and I thank the government of Uganda.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay, FlexiPay, or Bridge Schools. To pay school fees using Airtel Money for Bridge Schools, dial *185#. Select option 6, School Fees. Select option 1, Bridge Schools. Enter pupil ID. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
This is how we play. Play with power.
This is how we do it.
How we put a team together. This is how we pass on greatness. Because with this team to inspire us, there's nothing we can't do. Play to inspire.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Elizabeth Nakakoni, our sign language interpreter. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Let's continue. Government of Uganda has started the operationalization of 177 newly built seed schools in Buikwe district. Sugu Seed School Secondary School was commissioned, and the management of the school applauded the government for the support given towards contributing to the education of their children. Let's take a look.
The government of Uganda has started the operationalization of 177 newly built seed schools, which are being handed over by the contractors across the country. Construction of the majority of the schools in question started in 2018 under the Uganda Intergovernment Fiscal Transfer Program, Phase 1. Government, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, is working hard to see the standards towards improving the quality of education by extending schools in each village. In Buikwe District, the State Minister for Presidency and Buikwe District Woman Member of Parliament Diana Mutasingwa represented the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataham 7, commissioned a seed school in Segu village. In her keynote speech, Minister Mutasingwa acknowledged the efforts of government on promoting education in every part of the country.
I am confident that the students will use these facilities to fulfill their potential, and I look forward to seeing them excel as they advance in their education journey.
During the inspection of the commissioned seed school, she warned the engineers of shadow work.
Most of the times you find substandard work, and I am going to make sure that we maintain this school. If there is any substandard work, we will blacklist that construction company, and even they will pay for the money government has put in.
Jen Kayagi, the resident district commissioner of Buikwe, cautioned parents who involve their children in business during the time of study to stop.
That one, we discussed it in the security committee. We are going to handle this together with the local leadership, the LC1s and the leadership of the sub-counties. Because a child to go to school, it is a child's right.
However, with the commissioning of Segu Seed School here, the area MP Lulu Mebaiga said the expectations are high.
Enrollment is the infrastructure. This is a great infrastructure, one of a kind in this sub-county, and we hope it is going to be an attractor for our parents to gain confidence that the schools can deliver better.
Segu Seed School has 365 students and 25 teachers fully paid by the government and 8 private staff. Kenneth Tanaba, UBC News.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Education and Sports, also First Lady Janet Museveni, has said her ministry and the NRM government is committed to establishing secondary schools in all the sub-countries without secondary schools in the country. In her speech read for her by the Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Chinchinyi, while commissioning Bata Seed School, Janet Museveni said under Uganda Intergovernment Fiscal Transfer Program Phase 1, the ministry will embark on constructing 259 secondary schools in 3 phases. She also called on the schools authorities to make the best use of the education facilities.
Seated in Bata Sub-County on a public land donated by the community is Bata Secondary School. With an enrollment of 173 students, the school has been operating from Atabu Primary School. During his campaign in 2016, President Yoweri Museveni promised to construct seed secondary schools in all the sub-counties without one, which has been a dream come true for the community of Bata Sub-County.
So Bata Sub-County was not having any government-aided secondary school. So that's why, as a community of here, through the sub-county local government, had to donate land. But we're happy to the government of Uganda, the National Resistance Movement, who are also double as the chairperson NRM of this district, for this good policy and many other policies.
While commissioning the school built under Uganda Intergovernmental Physical Transfer Program in Bata Sub-County, Minister of Education and Sports, also First Lady of Uganda Janet Kataha Museveni, called on school authorities to make the best use of the education facilities. Represented by the Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kwechuny, the minister said NRM government is taking bold steps in the right direction.
So I ask, for example, this one. Who has done this one? NRM. The town councils, the roads you are saying should be rehabilitated, it's NRM government. And so I want to strengthen you. If you hear anybody saying NRM government has done nothing, I think you should challenge that one.
The ministry plans to build 269 secondary schools in 3 phases.
The first phase covering 117, and this, I think, this is where Bata is. In the second phase, we'll construct 115. And lastly, 27 schools will be handled in the third phase.
At the launch in Bata Sub-County, speaker after speaker, everyone cried for electricity to operationalize the computers at the school.
Okay, the computer is there, but we want the power, do our practical work in the computer.
We have the sub-county right behind where the plane has landed that need power. We also have the health center.
The 25-month project was taken by Wanji General Enterprise through the U-Gift with funding from the World Bank. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Digital consumers have been warned on the ongoing online scam and fraud. This comes at a time when Uganda commemorates the World Consumer Rights Day at Uganda Communications Commission headquarters. Let's take a look.
According to Uganda Communications Commission, 1 out of every 10 consumers are digitally imitated and exposed to fraud. On the World Consumer Rights Day, UCC warns all those that attempt to scam people will face the law.
Everyone is suffering bafere, scammers. These scammers, they are not only apparent in Uganda. World over, we have people who are trying to exploit technology for their own negative interests, to scam people. We have pedophiles, we have, online bullying and harassment.
Ugandans are interested in free things, yet it comes with costs, and if one is scammed, they're not ready to report them.
But we have to be alert. You have to know, if you've not subscribed for something, don't assume then you're going to get something for free. Free meals are always expensive. So be careful when someone says you have won. Did you enter any competition? What information are you putting out there about yourself? Be alert when the operator tells you don't share the PIN. Why are you assuming then the same operator is not going to call you to ask you for that PIN?
UCC has started an awareness campaign and tasked consumers to mind the information they share, saying they are the major cause of what they are fighting.
The next weakest point is the individual. That link is only as strong as you, the individual. So if you release the PIN, meaning we need to make sure every consumer gets to understand how to protect themselves.
This year's theme is Digital Safety for All. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Questions?
And over 600 families in 14 districts have benefited from the Epicenter strategy, an integrated approach to rural development spearheaded by the Hunger Project Uganda. Epicenter approach empowers communities to access basic services needed to live better lives.
These people gathered at Mpigi Epicenter to welcome the visiting president of the Hunger Project, Timothy Pruitt. Having existed for over 20 years in Uganda, the Hunger Project has directly benefited over 680,000 families in 14 districts. Through its integrated approach, the Epicenter, the Hunger Project has transformed the lives of communities.
Here we create that epicenter, that area where we empower, we train communities, we support them to do their own development, to become self-reliant. So with that, from the epicenter, the message spreads and impacts communities beyond the area.
More so in the most sensitive parts of education, health, and fighting hunger.
The Epicenter advocates for a modern community life. Agriculture, being the major economic activity, has been optimized through value addition to improve household incomes for women and youth.
They gave us jinga grinding machine, we as youth. So we used them to make money from them. And they gave us different trainings. And after training us, and they gave us job to train other people.
Local leaders, however, want the Epicenter Health Center 3 to be upgraded to Health Center 4.
Because Health Center 4 comes with better services than Health Center 3. We can have a theater, we can have other services near to our people.
The Hunger Project President, Timothy Pruitt, is impressed by the interventions that have transformed people's lives.
Uganda is a leader in doing new and innovative things. For example, we have the vision boards. When women create their journey, their road journey to where they want to be, they can articulate exactly what they would like for themselves and for their families, and then work toward that.
The Hunger Project is contributing towards achieving food security, improved nutrition, and sustainable agriculture.
As government extends electricity to rural areas, vandals remain a challenge to the energy sector, said Minister for Energy and Mineral Development Peter Lokeris informed an annual general meeting for Kilembe Investment Limited 2020-2021, which was held in Kasese town.
The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Geoffrey Kabyanga, has assured Ugandans that government will extend power to the whole country.
And now, even with the parish development model coming in, and one of the pillars is digitization, where we shall use digital technology as much as possible. People must have power to run those tablets.
We are appealing to the people that we must all become policemen of the power lines, and then the towers which are transmitting electricity. Once you destroy one, the whole area becomes dark, and then you have caused a huge damage to the people's lives. Some people in the hospitals which are dependent on power.
The chairperson board of directors Kilembe Investment Limited, Reuben Mwaulwa, urged members to use electricity in producing wealth during the implementation of parish development model program.
Of government is don't just use electricity for lighting. Use it to produce wealth so that you have money in your pocket.
The Chief Executive Officer Kilembe Investment Limited, Birungi Jane Masika, welcomed the investment plans.
When the solution of concrete poles comes around, we welcome it as a miracle, it is a problem solver. So that if we have been spending much on the pole savers and trying to buy maram to fix on the hole before planting the wooden pole, so to try and extend the long span of the lifespan of the poles. But if the lifespan of a concrete pole can go for 30 years, it will be a very great relief. Surely we welcome that.
On showing the success of rural electrification in Kasese district, Masika noted that most youths have now engaged themselves in productive ventures and services are now nearer to the communities. Joshua Kagoro, UBC News.
With that, we'll take a quick break. When we return, business news.
connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Your MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 30 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 80 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 180 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Did you know that wasting water like that is causing harm to the environment? Did you know that water is vital for agriculture, industries, transport, energy, amidst other growing demands?
You mean water is that important?
Be in class now. Water resources are part of the environment, and their sustainable management and development is key in mitigating the increasing risks and shocks related to climate change. Join the Uganda Water and Environment Week 2022 from 28th to 25th March 2022 under the theme Water and Environment for Peace and Socio-Economic Transformation of Uganda, as we discuss the role of water and environment resource management and development in promoting peace and stability. The Uganda Water and Environment Week is organized by the Ministry of Water and Environment through the Water Resources Institute in collaboration with other partners. For more information, call 0782 662205 or 0753 153791.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay, FlexiPay or Bridge Schools. To pay school fees using Airtel Money for Bridge Schools, dial *185#. Select option 6, School Fees. Select option 1, Bridge Schools. Enter pupil ID. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Yes, let's talk business. Expanding tourism exports out of Uganda is being scaled up under the Handicraft and Souvenir Development Project. In the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Wawoto Kasal Cooperative Society, owned by women, is preparing for a regional and international market under the Handicraft and Souvenir Development Project. Now, the target is hinged on improving quality assurance through better standard skills, governance of the producer associations, and branding for effective tourism exports.
Gulu City in northern Uganda has pushed back the effects of a 20-year LRA conflict which ended in 2005 for peace and business. Wawoto Kachel is a largely women enterprise whose skills have strengthened under the Handicraft and Souvenir Development Project.
The project is based in northern Uganda and support the vulnerable women within the districts
of Gulu, Amoro, Kitgum, and other places, especially within northern Uganda. It started way back in 1997, and it was fully registered as an Art and Craft Society in 2004. Its main work or its main activity is the production of art and craft materials and the sales of the local craft that we produce.
Interactions with other enterprises under the respective clusters has diversified their products as encouraged under the Enhanced Integrated Framework, a lead partner.
This project is very unique and important to us because for the first time we have a project that is targeting the people that are involved in handicrafts and souvenirs. And this is very important for tourism because every time you travel, I'm sure whenever you travel, you want to pick something from where you have been that reminds you of the places you have visited. So when people come to Uganda, they want to pick something, a souvenir. They want to pick something that is unique to Uganda, that when they go, they say, I picked this from Uganda. So you cannot divorce crafts and souvenirs from tourism.
There are strategies to effectively manage the Wawoto Kachel enterprise.
The production or the project has 6 different sections. That is bead section, knitting section, tailoring section, tie and dye section, weaving section, and cut section. In all these sections, we produce variety of products.
They deal in handicraft and souvenir development with a vision of leading Wawoto Kachel to greater heights.
We have learned a lot and it has contributed to the development of the project. Last year also we had the opportunity to train the members, not only in the production process, but also in the psychosocial support. The psychosocial support helps them to have the positive attitudes towards the production.
Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, together with partners, the Enhanced Integrated Framework, EIF, and the International Trade Center have offered technical interventions to improve the livelihoods of women.
Where we want to specifically target groups that are around the protected areas, because we have many groups that make handicrafts and souvenirs around, but you find that they are not organized, they are not supported, maybe they don't have the capital to put in. So we want to specifically identify these groups and train them and equip them and support them to do that.
All right, now members of Parliament from the Finance, Planning and Economic Development Committee are questioning Uganda Revenue Authority's capacity to hit its annual revenue collection targets, with the revenue body registering a deficit of over R1 trillion in the current fiscal year. The achievement of government's key projects and debt repayment hangs in balance.
Don't have resources. The government must come in to give them some resources for them to be able.
The Minister of State for Cooperatives, Frederick Gume, has threatened to arrest whoever is found to have stolen or mismanaged cooperative societies' funds.
We give you money, you lend to your people, you return, we give the other one, you lend. That attitude of borrow and refund, borrow and refund.
The minister says members of cooperative societies should always demand for accountability of their savings, list managers and board members steal or mismanage their savings. Gume was launching the Cooperative Resilience Measurements Index and Research Report at a ceremony held at Sheraton Hotel, Kampala.
Officially launched the cooperative identity as a crucial determinant of cooperative resilience, case study of cooperatives in Uganda.
He said that with the rollout of the parish development model, SACCOs and EMIOGA cooperative societies are now going to prosper more than ever before.
We're now saying, let us take 100 million per year to the parish. The parish development SACCO down there will be able to operate as a cooperative and they will be able to lend the money.
The report that was undertaken by Uhuru Institute for Social Development team of researchers discovered that cooperatives have not performed well, mainly due to mismanagement and previous wars that led to property loss.
We recommend a wider testing and adoption of the Cooperative Resilience Measurement Index by the government of Uganda as a monitoring and supervisory tool to provide evidence on how cooperatives can be championed as engines for agro-industrialization.
The Chief Executive Officer, Uhuru Institute for Social Development, Leonard Okello, advised Ugandans to embrace the cooperative spirit to realize holistic development.
Enable serious dialogue, serious research, and serious informed decision making so that the future of cooperatives in this country, and especially across the Pan-African continent, becomes the cooperatives that are not just by name, but services the people, the members, and contributes to Africa's future.
The Cooperative Resilience Measurements Index and Research Report launch attracted academicians, cooperators, researchers and members of savings credit and cooperative organizations. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities is working with partners to ensure that wildlife trafficking and other illicit trade is stopped. Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Tom Butime, points out that strategic measures need to be taken to protect endangered wildlife species that risk extinction.
Illicit wildlife trade has been a challenge facing the tourism industry. Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities is engaging with partners to revise ways of countering wildlife trafficking and other illicit trade. Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Tom Butime, points out that perpetrators now use containerized supply chains to commit wildlife-related crimes, stressing that the container inspection needs to be strengthened.
In 2019 alone, over 90 tons of pangolin scales were intercepted, along with 15 tons of elephant ivory from containerized cargo transported between Africa and Asia.
However, the direction now is to improve capacity to detect and prevent wildlife crimes and promote the use of legal transportation supply chains.
Finally, for traffic, working on addressing wildlife trafficking in the transport sector has been largely undertaken through its leadership of the recent USA Routes partnership, reducing opportunities for unlawful transport of endangered species that work to disrupt wildlife trafficking by reducing the use of legal transportation supply chains.
I am aware through the workshop that through my team that we will get some experience and put challenges that we face and look for solutions.
The tourism industry earns Uganda $1.6 billion annually, contributes 8% to the country's gross domestic product, GDP, and employs 7% of the country's population. Adiana Kuti and Mary Namusoke, UBC.
Well, members of Parliament from Finance, Planning and Economic Development Committee are questioning Uganda Revenue Authority's capacity to hit its annual revenue collection targets, with the revenue body registering a deficit of over R1 trillion shillings in the current fiscal year. The achievement of government's key projects and debt repayment hangs in balance.
Uganda Revenue Authority is on the verge of failing to hit the current fiscal year revenue target of about 25 trillion shillings. With government spending trillions of shillings annually in servicing debts, there is a growing concern of URA's capacity to mobilize enough revenue in order to reduce on government's borrowing.
Government has come up with a budget estimate of about 42 to 43 trillion, and a target for URA to collect about 25 trillion in the next financial year. So, and because in the current financial year running, URA is already running at a deficit of about 1 trillion. So our concern, if you want to say demand, is that as a committee, now that URA is already running at a deficit, and we are just coming out of COVID, businesses are just picking up. How possible is it going to be for URA to hit this target?
Widening of the tax base is seen as a proactive solution in filling the revenue void and lessening the tax burden from the over 2 million registered taxpayers. The strategic high-level revenue mobilization meeting between MPs from the Finance, Planning and Economic Development Committee, USAID officials and URA delved on issues of taxation and policy.
We have been able to illustrate that currently we have a narrow tax base, and that is why it is felt that those who are paying taxes feel to be paying a lot to service the entire country. We have showed them strategies we're undertaking to be able to expand the tax base, because when you expand the tax base, then every able Ugandan is able to pay just a fair share of what is owed to them, and that is where you can now even have a discussion on lowering tax rates. Countries that are able to charge less taxes are those usually with wider tax bases. So currently our tax base is about 2 million Ugandans, but it has the potential to grow to about 5 million. We have about 7 million Ugandans with the potential to pay taxes that are not paying taxes. Why? Because they operate informal businesses.
Uganda Revenue Authority has a goal of growing the number of registered taxpayers to 5 million within the next 3 to 4 years. Efficient utilization of the digital systems to mobilize revenue collection and fast-tracking leakages in taxes is encouraged in a bid to attain URA's and government's goals. Dennis Sigoa and Charlotte Amuge for UBC Business.
Well, now in sports, Federation of Motorsport Clubs of Uganda has launched the 2022 Pearl of Africa Rally that will be hosted by Uganda in May. The event at Shell Bugolobi was graced by Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala.
After an eventful rally in eastern Uganda over the weekend, the Federation of Motorsport Clubs of Uganda is bracing for the Pearl of Africa Rally. This rally is due between May 6th and 8th, 2022 and will be contested on 90% private roads, a move that has pleased the Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala.
Is that they have taken the rally cars off the roads. So they will be able to do their course in a very safe environment without any disturbance from the normal traffic. And that means that the safety of the rally drivers and the safety of the fans also has been assured. So that's very good. But I also want to appeal to the fans that please also behave.
Unfortunately for Uganda, this Pearl of Africa Rally has attracted caution from the international body, with this year's event aimed largely at improved safety.
It's been observed that the event is deteriorating on the safety front, and we have been warned and cautioned that unless we demonstrate an improvement in our safety measures on the ground during the running of the rally is on the... We've been given the last chance to run this rally, show improvement so that we continue with it as an Africa Rally Championship.
It's the third activity on both the National Rally and Africa Championship calendars, and expects top drivers from the continent, including Uganda's Arthur Blick.
Yeah, we're going to be ready for the Pearl.
The rally, to be contested in Lugazi for 270 competitive kilometers, has been boosted by Shell V-Power to the tune of 250 million shillings.
We want to see to it that Uganda turns out the best host, and we want to take advantage of this. Let this rally give this country visibility. Let this rally give this country marketability.
It will have 3 sections of Shekameta, Kasakuti and Mabira, with each contested twice, but with reduced distance on day 2. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
Now, the Altona British School Kampala Swim League entered March Day 9 with the competition much more intriguing and pointing to better in the future. All its outings are hosted at the British School Kampala in Muyenga.
Founders of the Altona British School Kampala Swim League didn't think it would meet national acclaim in just its second year. How wrong they were, because as it stands, it's the most talked about swimming activity around and has honed skills of many that will benefit the nation. A case in point is Abigail Mwagale, an 11-year-old girl who didn't arrive with pomp but is now primed to become one of the best the country has. She's currently ranked number 7 in the country and will debut for the national team at the Kana Zone 3 and 4 this year in Tanzania and Zambia respectively.
I like the league because it has helped me achieve so many goals. Like right now I've been selected to go for Kana Zone 4 in Zambia, and the league has helped me. During the league I have raced and prepared for racing with other people, and it has prepared me to know how to race with other people as I'm racing. And when I go for Kana Zone 4, knowing that I have the some of the toppest times as we are going, I think it will help me, and I think I really want to go for it.
Abigail is captain of Team Talons that, despite being reigning champion, are still trail in the 3-team league that has Colts atop and Astros second. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
Now, whenever the national football team, the Cranes, is to engage in a serious competition, a series of trial games are lined up to check on the fitness levels of the players and a combination test. Now, unlike before, where the team has had trips to northern part of the country, the Cranes will compete in Buganda Region Mityana District. Cranes will play against the Buganda Regional Select, that's on Sunday, before engaging in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier games. Cranes coach Milton Mitchell has selected 26 players, including Farouk Mia, who is currently in the country after halting his league due to the war in Ukraine, and Charles Lukwago. Players from Vipers Sports Club, KCCA FC, Police FC and other top clubs have been lined up for the engagement. The regional teams, on the other hand, try to impress for players to scout to bigger clubs within the league. And the National Resistance Movement Director for Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, has advised the public to embrace government projects with a political mindset. She was in Owino Market to celebrate alongside the fish vendors team that won the recently concluded Susan Kushaba football tournament.
From the start of the Susan Kushaba Sports Tournament in January this year, the number of fans and players kept increasing each match day. The tournament was a reserve for St. Bali Kudembe market vendors who competed in football, netball and music. Fish vendors won the football tournament and have celebrated that feat with National Resistance Movement Mobilization Director Rosemary Seninde.
President bwetwabadde nga batandika programu eya parish model yakitegedde bulungi nti ab'e Kampala naddala abali mu butale bayinza okuba nga bo tebali mu programu za kulima, bo kye beetaaga ze nsimbi ezigenda mu nsawo basobole okugaziya ku mirimu gyabwe.
Seninde advised the market vendors and all other youth in the country to remain apolitical, especially where peace and development are concerned.
Bino tebiriimu bya bufuzi, naye ekisinga obukulu nti tusobola okukolera awamu ow'NRM n'atali w'NRM ffenna ne tusobola okuganyulwa mu ggwanga lyaffe. Ye enteekateeka His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni gy'ataddeko essira.
St. Bali Kudembe market leaders applauded the gesture by tournament organizer Susan Kushawa and the guest Rosemary Seninde for their insistence on youth economic development.
Omukazi akoze okukumyala akoze buli kimu kyonna atabagasse.
What follows for the youth in all informal sectors of Kampala is a sports competition codenamed Sevo Cup later this year.
Mukuliko okuwangula omupiira.
Well, that does it for news tonight. Elizabeth Nakakonia, sign language interpreter. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. We'll leave you with Molen Kenyana with the weather update. Have yourselves a good night.
Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome to tonight's weather report. My name is Molen Kenyana. Well, generally we've seen a reduction in wet weather activities for today across several places. However, throughout last night into the early hours of today morning, we did have some rains. And according to available data, Jinja was reporting a total of 11.1 millimeters of rainfall. Soroti had 1.9 and Entebbe was reporting 10 millimeters. Now, according to the satellite analysis, we still have those dry winds that are coming in from the northern part of the continent, and those are responsible for the dry weather that we have, most especially across the northern sector of our country. Now, at the same time, we continue to see low pressure systems that are developing over the Indian Ocean, mostly across northern Madagascar as well as the Mozambique Channel, and because of that, we have seen a reduction in wet weather activities throughout several places within our country as well. Now, looking into our forecast for tomorrow, we'll start it off with mostly intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions, and that will be across most areas within the country. Quite a pleasant morning. However, we're also likely to have a little bit of rains, but that will be across the western side of Lake Victoria. Now, later in the afternoon, we shall maintain mostly sunny intervals, that is across the northern part of the country, as well as eastern Uganda. We're also likely to have a development of rainy conditions across the Lake Victoria Basin, parts of central as well as southwestern Uganda. At daytime highs, we're forecasting a maximum of 29 that will be across the nation's capital, Kampala. Soroti, you'll be at 34, and we're forecasting quite a hot day across the Karamoja region as well as northern Uganda. We'll see temperatures rising up to 35, and quite a cooler day for Kabale Highlands. Temperatures will be rising up to 25 degrees centigrade. Some of the world cities that we have for you, we're forecasting rainy conditions that will be across Nairobi as well as Zanzibar, and a sunny day is forecast for Cairo and Cape Town. Also a very hot day for Dubai with sunny intervals. Temperatures will be rising up to 35 degrees centigrade. With that, we come to the end of tonight's weather report. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Molen Kenyana. Have a good night.
As you drive through towards Jinja City, you come across the very first swing bridge of the Lake Victoria Crescent. You also get past the